Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was trained to harness the Kyuubi's power as a Power Ranger movie. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, Rider Paladin, link is in the description, also subscribe if you enjoy the video. Let's start the story. The brown-haired boy in his late teens stood protectively in front of a small blonde boy, separating him from the angry mob from which he'd been fleeing. The older boy wore a purple vest jacket with a claw mark emblazoned on the left breast over a long-sleeved black shirt and black pants. His blue eyes blazed with anger at the bloodlust he could smell from the villagers toward the boy he was protecting. "I hope you're aware," he began with a calm he did not truly feel, "that this is a little boy you've been trying to kill. I hope you feel ashamed, because you should." "That is no little boy," a villager yelled. "That's a demon," another shouted. "He killed our fourth Hokage," a third yelled. "He killed my child," a fourth shouted. "He killed my wife," a fifth hollered. "He destroyed my house," a sixth roared. The older boy looked at the smaller boy. "Is all this true?" he asked rhetorically. The smaller boy shook his head with fear. "No. I don't know what they're talking about. I never did anything to them." "Liar," a seventh villager screamed. The older boy turned to the angry mob, a smile on his face. "There. He's innocent. Just a little boy like any other, with the same hopes, dreams, and fears as any. Whatever your grudge with him, he is not the one to blame for your sorrows. You're in league with the demon," a villager yelled. "Kill them both," another suggested. Just as the villagers were about to attack, the older boy whispered to the younger, "Don't be afraid." He held up his index fingers and thumbs, spread his hands far apart, and channeled violet energy through those hands. The energy took on the shape of a wolf that quickly forced the mob to disperse. "This puts me in a good mood. Don't make me upset. You wouldn't like me when I'm upset." The small boy had seen the entire thing, watching as the older boy had unleashed some kind of violet spirit wolf to attack the mob. "What is that?" "My wolf spirit," the older boy replied. He turned to the mob. "I'm taking this boy away from this place. Maybe when I bring him back here for a visit, you'll all have learned a little lesson in humanity." The next day, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, sat at his desk, staring at the astral form before him. "Am I to believe what I am seeing here?" he asked sardonically. "A ninja must look underneath the astral form, glowing white energy shaped very much like a human being," answered. "Is that not the lesson you've spent so long teaching your pupils and would-be successors?" "Yes," Sarutobi admitted. "But that doesn't explain what you want with Naruto Uzumaki." "The boy's father was doomed to failure from the very beginning," the astral figure stated sadly. "He wanted the boy to be seen as a hero for the use of his body as a prison for the entity that nearly destroyed your village. Unfortunately, humans and other sapient life fear what they do not understand, and what they fear, they ultimately hate and seek to destroy. Your own efforts to protect him, as noble as they were also doomed to failure from the very beginning, and now it is out of your hands. Naruto is still. Naruto's future is in this village, but he will not be able to make it there with this village so determined to destroy him. That is why he is now under the protection of the Order of the Claw. He will learn more from them than he will from your ninja at this point." Sarutobi hated to admit it, but the astral figure had a point. The villagers would take a long time to accept Naruto, and with Naruto as a constant reminder of what they had lost that day, it was no surprise that they had been so quick to turn on him. He sighed sadly. "Will I ever see him again?" "In 10 years' time." "May I inquire as to your name?" The astral figure began to fade away, his visage growing dimmer and dimmer until he was entirely gone. However, just before his presence faded out completely, a deep reverberant voice spoke. In Kurigakure, the village hidden in the mist, a young dark-haired girl trudged through the snow, dressed in tattered rags that did nothing to keep her warm. She stumbled once, but righted herself and continued her lonely walk. She was an orphan, for two very important reasons, the more important one in the villager's mind, being that she was a demon, or rather, the container of a demon. The more important reason in her heart was that she was a freak. A monster with a bloodline limit, one inherited from her mother, who'd hidden it from her father, and her father had murdered her for it. The girl would have died, too, had she not instinctively used the power within her blood, and the monster sealed within her to kill her father and the allies he had gathered to him. Now she was alone. Absolutely and completely alone, and there was nary a person around who'd give her a warm meal, a cup of hot chocolate, or even a warm bed to sleep in for the night. She would have to fend for herself, as she had grown accustomed to ever since that forsaken night. "You look lost," a gruff male voice remarked. The girl turned to the source of the voice, a man with long blonde hair and a full goatee dressed in sharkskin leathers, a pair of swords at his side. "I'm not lost, sir. I simply have nowhere to go." "Then why not come with me?" he asked, his voice softening. "Are you going to hurt me, sir?" the girl asked. The man looked taken aback. "No. What makes you think I'd do such a thing?" My own father tried to kill me, the girl answered. How am I to know you won't do the same? The man sighed sadly. I'll tell you my name, and you'll tell me yours, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Okay. I'm Finn. What's your name? Haku. In Sunagakure, the village hidden in the sand, a young red-headed boy looked at the corpse of the man he had long believed was his only friend. Except he wasn't his friend, he never cared about him at all. In fact, he had despised him from the very beginning. It had all been lies, all his talk about love and loyalty, nothing but filthy lies. Hey, a voice greeted him. Without thinking, the boy lashed out with the sand that surrounded him, intending to crush the newcomer to nothing. However, that never quite happened, because a glowing sword that vaguely resembled a rhino's horn sliced through the sand, as though it were wet tissue paper. The boy looked at the wielder of the sword, a teenage boy with close-cropped blonde hair and broad shoulders. The older boy wore a white and black jacket with orange highlights and black pants, and he was looking at the younger boy with a sad expression. I know what it's like. For people not to understand you, not to even try to understand you. Just resenting you because of the way you are. You don't know my pain, the red-headed boy snarled. True, the blonde boy replied. But I know what it's like to be rejected, even when you're trying to reach out to people. There's a place, though, where you won't have to go through all that. There's a place where you can learn to control the power slumbering within you, without letting the power control you. What do you know about power? The smaller boy asked. Plenty, the older boy answered. He smirked for a moment. You wanna see? The smaller boy harumphed. Show me what you have. The older boy chuckled and unleashed a white energy from his body that took the shape of a stampeding rhino. The smaller boy blocked with his sand shield, and both the shield of sand and the spirit rhino were demolished in the collision between the irresistible force and the immovable object. The smaller boy looked at the older boy with a dawning respect. Where did you get such power? Fighting for what's important to me. And what is important to you? The older boy smiled slowly. My friends. Who are you? The younger boy asked. Dominic. You? Gaara of the sand. Why don't you come with me, then? Dominic offered, reaching out to the younger boy. The next day, the fourth Kazuki found himself staring deep into the eyes of a burning bright astral figure. What have you done with my son? You don't treat him like a son, the astral figure answered simply. You treat him as a weapon, as a tool to help your village keep its supremacy. Isn't that what you sealed that sand spirit into him for? Well, his mother was still pregnant with him. Your wife. She understood what she had to do for this village, the Kazuki growled. She cursed you. You and this village that would do this to her and her son. And thanks to your foolishness, Gaara could very well have become the very incarnation of his mother's curse. That won't happen now, he will grow up in a place where he can learn to control his inner beast and not be shunned for it. What right do you have? I am Kazuki. And I am the guardian of the universal morphing grid, a power that extends far beyond what you think yours is. The Kazuki snarled. Who are you? The astral figure faded from the Kazuki's sight, but his presence did not completely vanish. Before it did, the Kazuki heard a single word. Zordon. In Kumagakure, the village hidden in the clouds, a young blonde girl with cat-like slanted eyes wandered through the neighborhood, ignoring the harsh stares pointed her way. She continued to the market, just wanting to get some food and herbs and get out quickly. She knew the villagers didn't like her, and the sooner she could get what she came for and go back home, the better. Unfortunately, it was not to be, as someone tripped her. She fell to the ground, looking up at the one who had tripped her, an older boy surrounded by a gaggle of friends with matching sneers on their faces. The girl snarled internally, that boy wouldn't feel so tough if it wasn't for his brainless friends. One-on-one, she bet she could take him down. Oh, is the baby demon gonna cry? The boy mocked her. The girl glared up at the boy, slowly rising to her feet. At that moment, she was kicked in the stomach. Demons should stay on the ground, the boy who had kicked her sneered. Leave her alone, a deep, serious voice ordered. A shadow loomed over the girl and the boys that were picking on her, prompting them to look up and see a young man with long dark hair and dark eyes burning with rage, dressed in a black leather suit with the underarms cut out. And who's gonna make us, mister? You? One of the boys asked. That boy shortly found himself chopped in the throat, causing him to cough and hack and gasp for breath. The other boys began to back away from the girl, not wanting to chance a fight with a leather-clad stranger, who was now gazing upon the observing villagers with scornful wrath. You were willing to stand there and watch while those boys picked on a defenseless young girl. Did you not do anything because you were afraid? Or did you not do anything because you hated her? You don't know who she is. A villager was finally brave enough to shout. It doesn't matter, the stranger snarled. She was a defenseless child, and you would have left her to the mercies of those boys. I may not know who she is, but I know who you are. Filth. And I am not going to allow this girl to be sullied by you. By this point, an angry mob had begun to coalesce. The stranger merely smirked and radiated a literal aura of black and gold energy, one that formed into a black lion with a golden mane and rushed at the nascent mob, forcing them to disperse or be torn apart. The spirit lion dissipated, its job done, as the stranger looked at the little girl. "What is your name?" "Yugito. Yugito Nai. I'm Kurijishi Ryo." The next day, the Raikage was glaring at the brightly glowing astral figure before him. "Do you realize what I could do to you for this? Do you really think we would harm Yugito? She is a citizen of Kumo." The Raikage answered. "But she is not under your direct authority, as she is not a ninja," the astral figure countered. "She is a Jinchuriki. Her safety is my top concern. If it were you wouldn't let the villagers brutalize her the way they have. Were it not for the intervention of the Order of the Claw, Yugito would have been severely harmed, if not killed, and your villagers were willing to stand by and let it happen. I am sorry, but I cannot entrust her safety to you." The Raikage glared at the astral figure, his expression only slightly softening. "Will she be safe with you?" "Yes," the astral figure promised. "We will keep her safe. We will train her. And we will give her a place where she can be free of persecution for what she carries inside her." "Who are you?" the Raikage asked. The astral figure suddenly vanished, like a flash of lightning. But there was a distinctive mark of his visit, an ornate Z scratched into the Raikage's desk. He heard a deep reverberant voice speak one word, and that word was Zordon. A little later, a tall, muscular boy with white hair styled in cornrows, darkly bronzed skin, and a tattoo on his left cheek resembling a bull's horns came in. "Lord Raikage, you summoned me. Is there something you want me to see?" the boy asked in a rhythmic tone. "Kurabi," the Raikage answered. "I want you to go to Dejubakure. The village hidden among the great beasts." "Yo, you want me to make them my feast?" Kurabi inquired in that same rhythmic tone. "No, I want you to watch over Yugito," the Raikage answered. "Make sure this Order of the Claw means nothing but the best for Yugito. Also, I want you to make sure she knows something about our ways and our combat styles." "Sure thing, Raikage, my man. I'll make sure the Order of the Claw doesn't do anything to Yugito-chan," Kurabi rhymed. The Raikage groaned. "Sometimes, brother, I don't know why I bother with you." "'Cause I'm the greatest," Kurabi answered, still in that rhythmic tone. "And you know better than to rage like a sadist." "Whatever. Just go and find Yugito." "Sure thing, big bro. Maybe while I'm at it, I'll find some hoes." The Raikage glared, prompting Kurabi to leave. Once Kurabi was gone, the Raikage looked at the Z engraved onto his desk. "Whoever the hell you are, Zordon, you'd better take care of Yugito." Dejubakure, the village hidden among the great beasts, was a village simultaneously surrounding and inhabiting the jungles where beasts dwelled. Its ninja practiced a unique form of summoning, where they forged a harmony with the spirits of the great beasts and unleashed those spirits to attack their enemies or harnessed those spirits to augment their extant physical and mental capabilities. Aijunin were reputed to be as stealthy as jaguars, as fast as cheetahs, as cunning as wolves, as strong as tigers, as mighty as lions, as sneaky as chameleons, as powerful as rhinos, as agile as sharks, as perceptive as bats, and as unstoppable as elephants. There were 5 unique residents of Hidden Beast, 5 who had sealed inside them the spirits of the most powerful beasts in the known world. These beasts were of an otherworldly nature, raw spiritual power molded into physical forms. Their living prisons were Naruto, the holder of the 9-tailed demon fox, Haku, the holder of the 3-tailed demon turtle, Gaara, the holder of the 1-tailed Shukaku, Yugito, the holder of the 2-tailed demon cat, Kurabi, the holder of the 8-tailed Ushioni. At this moment, a 15-year-old Naruto Uzumaki was sparring against his sensei RJ. The older man fought in a style resembling Muay Thai, using his elbows and knees to attack Naruto. Naruto fought in a style resembling capoeira, only extremely chaotic. Fortunately for RJ, his style was not the most predictable, either, which made things interesting for both of them. Naruto hooked his leg around RJ's ankle on a sweep and twisted to trip him. RJ simply landed on his hand and twisted into a low kick that Naruto barely evaded. Naruto twisted on his hands and launched himself into a kick that RJ blocked with both forearms crossed. Despite that, the force of Naruto's kick pushed RJ back some distance. Skidding to a stop, RJ looked up at Naruto with fire in his blue-gray eyes. "Time I stopped holding back on you," he said. "Likewise," Naruto answered. "Now whose spirit is stronger? The fox or the wolf?" RJ chuckled. "We'll see. Unleash the violet wolf." "Unleash the scarlet fox," Naruto answered. Both RJ and Naruto unleashed their beast spirits, RJ's wolf and Naruto's 9-tailed fox charging at each other. The violet wolf went into a spinning attack using its tail as a slashing weapon. The 9-tailed fox threw itself into a buzzsaw-like attack with all 9 tails as slashing weapons. The two beast spirits collided against each other, only for Naruto's fox spirit to ultimately prevail. "That wasn't even the worst I could have done," Naruto remarked. Likewise, RJ agreed. Guess I lied about not holding back on you. Same, Naruto answered. Say, you want to get a drink of water? RJ asked. Sure, I could use one, Naruto answered, wiping the sweat off his hands on his black pants. He went to a corner of the training room and picked up a red and black jacket with a symbol of the Order of the Claw on the left breast and a red spiral on the back. Donning the jacket, but leaving it open to expose the black shirt underneath, Naruto walked over to RJ. I wonder how Haku and Yugito are doing. Oh? RJ asked teasingly. Foxy boy got a crush. Naruto glared crossly at him. I don't tease you about the cheetah. Don't tease me about Haku and Yugito. You're really serious about those two, aren't you? Yeah. Well, you can either figure out which one you want more, or you can try to pull some kind of weird harem thing where you get them both, plus a few other girls. That actually might be interesting. Naruto scoffed. Please. How am I going to get a harem? And what would I do with one, anyway? Near the Hidden Beast River, a 17-year-old Haku fought Finn, his swords clashing with her combat needles. Well, he was better at close combat than she was faster than he was, and better at ranged attacks with her needles, which kept Finn off balance. It also helped that she could harden the ambient water vapor into a multiplicity of ice needles that flew at Finn, who blocked them to the best of his ability with his swords. You could stop holding back, Finn suggested. Are you sure about that? Haku asked gently. I do not wish to do you any genuine harm. This old shark can take it, Finn answered. Or are you scared? Haku growled and performed one-handed seals for her signature technique, largely a product of her bloodline limit. This technique created a dome full of mirrors formed from ice surrounding her and Finn. Once that was done, she stepped into one of the mirrors, seemingly fusing with it. Soon enough, her image was reflected in every mirror. Remember, you did ask for this. Finn smirked and combined his two short swords into one larger sword. Channeling his shark spirit through the sword, he managed to slice one of the mirrors, but Haku had used her multiple reflections to attack Finn with blinding speed. By the end of her blitz, Finn was trying to catch his breath. Not bad, Haku, Finn remarked. But I think it's time you experience the full power of the shark technique. I would like to experience this power, Haku invited. Finn separated his swords and channeled his shark spirit through both, generating slicing waves of water that cut Haku's mirrors, but did not destroy them. What do you think? He asked with a smirk. Haku answered by going into another blitz attack using her multiple reflections. Finn countered with his shark saber techniques, but Haku was able to deflect by manipulating the water droplets into ice needles that flew at Finn with incredible speed. Finn blocked the ice needles to the best of his not inconsiderable ability, but Haku's speed rendered such a near impossible task. Are you finished? Haku asked. No, Finn replied, unleashing his shark spirit in its full, undiluted form and turning it on Haku, who didn't seem all that worried. Bracing herself, she summoned her own beast spirit, the three-tailed demon turtle, to attack Finn. The two beast spirits did battle, with the three-tailed demon turtle ultimately proving victorious over Finn's shark spirit. Not bad. Haku smiled. Thank you, sensei. On the beach of the Hidden Beast village, a 15-year-old Gaara and Dominic fought, Dominic's punches putting cracks in Gaara's sand armor. Gaara was giving as hard as he got, though, his crushing sand attacks battering Dominic when his own fists weren't sufficient. Dominic jumped back from Gaara and his sand, his wide aura burning brightly as it formed into the shape of a rhino, and charged Gaara. In return, Gaara infused his sand with the spirit of the one-tailed Shukaku, forming a physical replication of the chakra beast that charged Dominic's rhino spirit. As had happened in their first encounter, the collision of the two beast spirits resulted in the dissipation of both, with sand flying everywhere from the Shukaku replica's disintegration. To Gaara's surprise, Dominic charged through the sand with his eyes tightly shut, a spirit-formed sword at Gaara's throat. Yield, Dominic demanded lightly. At that moment, Dominic found sand creeping up his legs, while sand fused to Gaara and hardened into armor. I don't think so, Gaara whispered. Touché, Dominic acknowledged. A stalemate as always, Gaara mused. Why is that? We're used to each other, Dominic surmised. Unless one of us did a completely out-of-nowhere technique, it'd always be a stalemate. Not that I mind. I like our spars. Gaara let the sand armor break off him, revealing his smiling face. I like them, too, Dominic-sensei. Deep within one of the jungle forests of Hidden Beast Village, an 18-year-old Yugito and 25-year-old Kyuubi stood before Ryo and Mel, the masters of the lion spirit and the chameleon spirit respectively. Ryo wore his usual combat outfit, a black leather suit with attached shoulder guards. Mel wore her standard combat outfit, a green cheongsam, and her dark hair was styled in two curled braids. Kyuubi was dressed in his usual baggy gray outfit, while Yugito wore a blue mandarin collared shirt and black pants. Are you ready to begin? Ryo asked. We are, Yugito replied. Ryo's aura flared black and gold before solidifying into lion-themed black armor that also turned his hair wild as a lion's mane. Mel's form shifted as well, into a chameleon-like green armored body, and she drew a pair of sai. Yo, what's up, my homies? This treat's on me. Kurabi rhymed, before unleashing the eight-tailed Ushi-Oni's power, which wrapped around him in the shape resembling its true form. Next to him, Yugito unleashed the two-tailed demon cat's power, which wrapped around her as blue fire and took the shape of its true form. Both former Cloud9 prepared for battle with the now armored Ryo and Mel. Ryo and Yugito fought, while Kurabi took on Mel. Kurabi might have had raw power on his side, but Mel took pride in being like the chameleon whose spirit she harnessed fast, stealthy, and cunning. Ryo and Yugito found themselves almost evenly matched. Yugito's intensity and skill were a formidable counter to Ryo's power and ferocity. At the climax of the fight, all four unleashed their beast spirits upon each other, the spirit lion and spirit chameleon taking on the burning blue and the massive bull-like demon. In the end, the conflagration destroyed a good portion of the jungle forest in which they'd been fighting. Yugito looked at the devastated area with a sigh and then punched Kurabi in the shoulder. "You ox." "Well, yeah, I'm the ox, so you'd better back off my rocks," Kurabi retorted. "I am going to explaining this to Master Mao," a powered-down Ryo groaned. "We'll just tell him it's Kurabi's fault," a similarly powered-down Mel suggested. Kurabi shook his head. "Man, I'm just being who I am. Y'all need to stop hating, damn." Now, the five-tailed beast jailers stood before Master Mao, the Zyakage or beast shadow of the hidden village they had called home for 10 years. "It's been 10 years since you were brought to our village. 10 years, and you have learned much of the ways of Juken. You have found the inner strength, the determination to protect what you hold dear, that serves as your drive. You are in perfect harmony with your chakra beasts." "I was already in harmony, but thank you very much for the honey," Kurabi rapped. Master Mao smiled tolerantly. "You're welcome. The Hidden Leaf Village is hosting this year's Chunin exams. I feel the four of you that are still genin will do well, which is why I've signed you up." "Grandpa's Zyakage, the Chunin exams must be taken in teams of 3, Naruto said. "Won't one of us have to stay behind? If so, it's gonna be a hard decision. I want to take the Chunin exams, but I don't want any of my friends to be denied their chance to become." Master Mao smiled. "As always, Naruto, your caring heart shines through. However, you're wrong. None of you will have to stay behind, as I am introducing 2 additional genin to join you. That will require you, though, to split into 2 teams. Who will these extra genin be?" Haku asked, garbed in her usual attire of a white battle kimono over a mesh body stocking and tight long black shorts, for the purpose of preserving her modesty. At that moment, 3 others stepped into the room. 2 were male and 1 was female. The older male was RJ, garbed in his standard purple battle vest over a black shirt and pants with a purple bracer, shaped similarly to a wolf's head on his left wrist. The younger male was about Haku's age and had long dark hair that, along with his black outfit, complemented his pale skin. The female was closer to Naruto's and Gaara's age, with suntanned skin and aquamarine hair. Her outfit could be described as a cropped white top and white miniskirt with a longer fishnet top and long fishnet shorts underneath. "RJ, Karasu, Renj," Master Mao greeted. Naruto, Haku, Gaara, Yugito, and Kurabi looked at the wolf and the 2 students accompanying him. "Are these the ones?" Gaara asked. Renj was the living prison of the 7-tailed Isenade, sealed into her at birth at the behest of the leaders of Takigakure, the village hidden in the waterfall. The villagers had ultimately refused to acknowledge her as one of their own, seeing her as nothing more than an incarnation of the monster that had terrorized their home. In that respect, she was not much different from Naruto, Haku, Gaara, Yugito, or even Kurabi. Like those 5, she had been saved from her deprived existence by an agent of Dejugakure, namely the Blue Mystic Wizard, a water elemental magus who had also acted on behalf of the Mystic Mother, the reputed source of all good magic. Karasu was the wielder of the Spirit of the Raven and was a born resident of Dejugakure. While not a tailed beast jailer himself, he was strong enough in his control of the Raven spirit to fight Gaara and Yugito, and maybe Haku if he pushed himself hard enough. As for his personality, he could almost be seen as a younger, darker version of RJ. Amiable enough in person but seemingly disinterested regarding the concerns and worries of everyone else. "Yes," Master Mao replied. "RJ, you will be the overseer of Naruto, Haku, and Gaara, Team Arashi. Kurabi, you will be the overseer of Yugito, Renj, and Karasu, Team Raiden." "What's that you're wearing on your wrist, RJ-sensei?" Naruto asked. RJ held up the wolf-shaped bracer on his left wrist. It energizes my wolf spirit in a way that armors my body and augments my combat prowess, while allowing me to channel my wolf spirit in other ways. Speaking of morphers, I have presents for you. Catch. Naruto, Gaara, Haku, Yugito, and Renji caught strange black oblong bracers with what appeared to be circular slots at the point where the straps would wrap around their wrists. As for Kurabi, he got what looked like a cross between a belt buckle and a high-tech cell phone with a circular screen similar to the slots on the 5 Genin's new bracers. When Kurabi flipped the device open, it revealed a numerical keypad. These are morphers. We might as well get some twoffers, Kurabi rhymed sardonically. Not done yet, RJ answered. Catch. The 6-tailed beast jailers caught what appeared to be golden medals with black frames that had multiples of 5 engraved in them like a combination lock. Each individual medal had the engraving of an image resembling his or her holder's unique tailed beast spirit. While Naruto uttered. Understand that in accepting these gifts, you also accept the responsibilities inherent in them, Master Mao stated. Responsibilities? Renji asked. Yes, Master Mao affirmed. You are the latest generation of a force that has existed for countless eons, a force dedicated to the protection of the innocent, the preservation of justice, and the defeat of those who would enforce iniquity. You are Power Rangers. Gaara looked at RJ. Are you a Power Ranger? Yes, RJ replied. And that relates to the other reason we're going to the Hidden Leaf Village. And that would be? Yugito prompted. Aishai, the infernal dragon, has found a way to escape from his imprisonment, Master Mao explained. Doubtlessly, he will have taken a human host, someone whose heart is full of anger and hate and the desire for vengeance. Aishai will nurture those desires, amplifying the darkness in this human soul until his host's humanity is completely hollowed out, leaving the host as a mere shell for Aishai to control and ultimately be reborn through. Who's Aishai? Naruto asked. The 10-headed infernal dragon, the most powerful of the beasts, Master Mao replied. Even more powerful than the 9-tailed demon fox, but his imprisonment has weakened him. If you strike now, while he is relatively weak, you may have a chance to defeat him. If he is allowed to regain his full power, I fear for this world. Attach the medals to your morphers, RJ instructed. The 6 obeyed, and a clamp from the side of the bracers the genin used secured the medals to the bracers. As for Kurabi, his medal had internal clamps securing it within the screen slot on the top part of the. What do we do with these? Haku wondered. Turn the dials on your morphers all the way to 0 and use the call, Beast Fist Strike Change. RJ instructed. Once those conditions are met, your morphers will use the power of your tailed beasts to forge a connection to the universal morphing grid, the source of all Rangers' powers. You will have eons of warrior knowledge hardwired into your cells, enhancing your abilities by a factor of 10 while armoring your bodies. That's incredible, Haku murmured. Yes, but you cannot use this power recklessly, Master Mao interjected. It is only to be brought out against the strongest and deadliest of foes. We understand, Naruto said. Karasu looked at RJ and Master Mao warily. Why didn't I get it? Those morphers are designed to work with the chakra of their tailed beasts, RJ replied. If I gave one of them to you, the feedback would tear you apart from the inside out. Karasu silenced himself, although fuming on the inside. We won't let you down, Grandpa's Aikage, Naruto vowed. That goes for all of us. Then from this point forward, you are the tailed Beast Fist Squadron Strike Rangers, Master Mao declared. Or Power Rangers Beast Fist Strikers, RJ added. At the glances Master Mao and the newly minted Rangers gave him, he just smiled. For something a little more fun sounding. As the 2 teams of prospective Omegacore left the village, Master Mao was in conference with 2 armored men. One wore black armor with silver accents and a strange ruby in the center of his chest, while the other wore robe-like golden armor and possessed glowing green eyes. They were the Phantom Ranger, guardian of the planet Elter, and the Sentinel Knight, guardian of the Corona Aurora. Both had fought alongside Ranger teams in the past, and now both of them would watch over this newest set of Rangers. The Beast Fist Strike Rangers have learned much under your guidance, Master Mao, the Phantom Ranger stated in his soft, almost whispery tones. But will that be enough for them to stand against Aishai? The Sentinel Knight added in his deeper, more commanding tones. That is also a concern of mine, Master Mao acknowledged. Another concern of mine is Karasu. He is resentful of not being given Ranger status alongside his teammates. The Phantom Ranger held out a golden pendant resembling a 3-pointed claw with an amethyst in the center. This is a spirit amplifier. It serves much the same function as only it directly harnesses the power of the user's spirit instead of merely using the spirit to forge a connection to the morphing grid. Using this, Karasu will be able to fight alongside his comrades, even if he cannot be called a ranger. How will you get it to him? Master Mao asked. Leave that to me, the Sentinel Knight answered, as the Phantom Ranger gave him the spirit amplifier. Would the spirit amplifier have any relation to your particular transformation method? Master Mao inquired of the Phantom Ranger. Yes, the Phantom Ranger admitted. It is based on the ruby that empowers me. With a nod to the Phantom Ranger, the Sentinel Knight teleported away, carrying the spirit amplifier. The Phantom Ranger turned to Master Mao and asked, "Do you think your students will fare well against the other candidates?" "I'm more concerned about them not revealing themselves as rangers in the process," Master Mao admitted. "That aside, I am confident that their skills as ninja will see them through. Despite that, I do worry for Naruto. These exams are taking place in the village of his birth, which was not the kindest to him in his formative years." "He will do fine, Master Mao," the Phantom Ranger assured the Zyakage. Master Mao simply nodded. "You may go now, Phantom Ranger." The Phantom Ranger nodded before seemingly vanishing from sight. In reality, he had turned invisible and slipped out of Master Mao's office, leaving the old master to ponder this latest turn of events. He did not doubt that if Dai Shai was not stopped soon, it would mean the end for humanity. About midway through the Strike Ranger's trip to the Hidden Leaf Village, Karasu was confronted by the golden figure of Sentinel Knight. "I have something for you," the ancient warrior said, extending the hand holding the spirit amplifier. "Is this a?" Karasu asked. "Somewhat similar in principle, but it taps your own strength rather than borrowing power from another source," the Sentinel Knight replied. "It's called a spirit amplifier. Channel your raven spirit into it and you will gain incredible might and fighting prowess." Karasu took the pendant and hung it around his neck, slipping it into the collar of his outfit for concealment. "Thank you." "You're welcome," the Sentinel Knight said, and vanished again. Elsewhere on the ship that transported the Strike Rangers, Naruto stared curiously at the on his wrist. So absorbed he was in examining that he failed to notice Haku coming his way until she was practically on top of him. "Still can't believe it, can you?" she remarked. Naruto looked up sharply, but relaxed when he saw it was Haku. "Sorry. You startled me, Haku." "I should apologize," Haku stated. "I didn't mean to startle you." "What do you think about this whole ranger thing?" Naruto asked. "Anything that enables me to defend those who are precious to me is a good thing," Haku replied. Naruto smiled. "I agree with you, Haku." Yo, isn't that some romantic stuff right here?" "Let's hope Naruto isn't queer," Kurabi rapped, utterly ruining the moment. "Do you mind?" Naruto asked. "Nope, don't mind at all. Looking forward to the throwdown, y'all," Kurabi rapped. Gaara glared at Kurabi. "You might wish to stop." "Why's that?" Kurabi asked. "You got a problem, eat my hat." Gaara's glare hardened. A simple warning among comrades. Sure, whatever," Kurabi answered. "Hope you're not under the weather." As soon as Kurabi and Gaara had left, Haku turned to Naruto. "Are you going to be alright?" she asked. "You mean returning to that damned village?" Naruto deduced. "I'll live." "Will you live well, though?" Haku wondered. Unbeknownst to the two, Yugito was watching them. "Jealous?" Renj asked her. "No," Yugito replied. "I know a jealous woman when I see one," Renj insisted. "And you are jealous. Don't you have a fish to catch?" Yugito sneered. Renj smirked. "Maybe green will be your color. You certainly are envious enough for it." Yugito bit back an angry growl as she watched Renj saunter away. She told herself she was not jealous of Haku's closeness to Naruto Uzumaki. She told herself she did not desire to be in the Hyoten user's place at this particular moment. She told herself her eyes were not focusing on Renj's sashaying hips. Wait, where in the hell had that last one come from? Yo, Yugito. Kurabi greeted. "What's the deal, yo?" "Kurabi-sensei, do you mind?" Yugito asked, irritated. No, Yugito." Kurabi replied. "Just wondering if you're aching for some Naruto." Yugito glared. "Kurabi-sensei, do you mind if I kick your ass right now?" "Hey, wait, calm down a bit, shorty," Kurabi admonished. "Let's not get all warty." Yugito growled. "Like I told Renj, I am not jealous and I do not desire Naruto Uzumaki." "Keep telling yourself that, honey," Kurabi remarked sardonically. "Maybe you can get rid of that little snow bunny." "Why am I not kicking your ass right now?" "Because you love me. I'm your shinobi sugar daddy. Will you just go?" Sure, Yugito. Just remember, you gotta speak up if you want Naruto." Yugito groaned in something resembling agony. Of course, spending as much time with the constantly rhyming Kurabi as Yugito did could be considered a form of torture or abuse. Fortunately for her, Kurabi had left, leaving Yugito alone in her secret to everyone but Renj and Kurabi observation of Naruto and Haku. She shook her head softly, thinking to herself that she was acting like a foolish little schoolgirl instead of the hardened kunoichi that she really was. When they reached the gates of the Hidden Leaf Village, they were confronted by the ninja guarding those gates. "State your names, village of origin, and purpose for coming." "I'm Robert James, of Hidden Beast Village," RJ introduced himself. "I've brought my genin here for the Chunin exams taking place in this village." "Representing Hidden Beast, this is Kurabi," Kurabi rapped. "Get my genin here for the exams, and we'll sting like the bee." Naruto Uzumaki, genin of Dejugakure, Naruto introduced himself. Here for the Chunin exams. Haku Hyarin, genin of Dejugakure, Haku introduced herself. Here for the Chunin exams. Gaara Sabakumo, genin of Dejugakure, Gaara introduced himself. Here for the Chunin exams. Yugito Nai, genin of Dejugakure, Yugito introduced herself. Here for the Chunin exams. Renj Nidakawa, genin of Dejugakure, Renj introduced herself. Here for the Chunin exams. Karasu Kurinen, genin of Dejugakure, Karasu introduced himself. Here for the Chunin exams. Show your passports, the ninja instructed. The 8 hidden beast ninja obeyed the gate guardian's instruction, showing him their passports. The guardian waved them through, allowing them to pass upon verifying for his own eyes that the passports were not counterfeits. Once inside, RJ turned to Naruto and asked, "How do you feel about being back here?" "I just wonder if anybody's gonna recognize me," Naruto answered. "They probably won't," Gaara said. "Human memory is funny like that. We should probably go to where the other genin are meeting," Karasu whispered. "Good point," Kurabi said. "RJ and I will get to the Hokage's joint." "Speaking of the Hokage, I wonder if the old man's still in the position," Naruto mused. "He might be, he might not be," RJ responded airily. As the two teams of hidden beast genin and their supervisors moved through the village, Naruto was surprised at the frankly appreciative looks the girls and young women of the village were giving him. He wasn't the only one getting those looks. Gaara, Karasu, and RJ were also getting appreciative and not quite furtive stares from the females of the village. However, Naruto did miss the flowers Haku and Yugito aimed at those girls who were eyeing him, Haku's cold like ice and Yugito's like the fires of hell. RJ didn't miss those flowers, though, and allowed himself a smirk. Beside him, Kurabi rapped, "I was right, for Uzumaki she's tight." "Yeah," RJ agreed slowly. He turned to the genin. "You know where to go, right?" "Yeah," Gaara replied. "Then Kurabi and I will go to Hokage Tower," RJ said. "You'll go to the meeting place for the genin taking the Chunin exams and not dilly-dally too long." "Yes, RJ-sensei," Haku answered. With RJ and Kurabi on their way to see the Hokage, Team Arashi and Team Raiden went their separate ways. As Naruto, Gaara, and Haku walked down the pathway, they spotted 5 people, 2 of whom appeared to be in dire straits. 3 of the 5 wore metal bands that marked them as ninja of Sunagakure, Gaara's birthplace and former home, and 2 of those 3 were female and appeared to be Haku's age. One of the girls was a teal-eyed blonde with her hair in 4 spiky ponytails and a large iron fan on her back, and the other was a dark-eyed brunette in a dark brown short dress with fingerless gloves and thigh-high black boots. The boy was dressed in what appeared to be a black suit with a cat-eared hood, and his face was adorned with purple tribal makeup. The cat-suited boy currently had a much younger, much smaller boy by the scruff of his neck, the boy having dark hair tied in a high and spiky ponytail and dressed in a yellow shirt and blue scarf. There was a pink-haired teenager, wearing a band that marked her as a hidden leaf shinobi, and dressed in a mandarin-collared red shirt and pink skirt over black short shorts. She was demanding that the cat-suited sand ninja let go of the smaller boy. Naruto clenched his fists, angered at the disrespectful treatment of the child and the girl. He silently walked over to the distressing tableau, radiating menace as he did so. "It'd be a good idea to listen to the lady," he murmured. "And who's gonna make me?" the cat-suited boy taunted. "You?" Naruto smiled, but it was not a beneficent smile. No, this smile was full of promises of broken bones and scalded flesh. "Yes. Still the bully, huh, Kankuro?" Gaara's voice spoke from the tree above them. In fact, when they turned to look at him, he was balanced perfectly on the underside of the lowest tree branch, doing a headstand while using his chakra to seal his feet to the branch. The cat-suited boy, now identified, looked up at Gaara. "Who is Gaara? Where the hell have you been? Everybody in Suna thought you were dead." "Is that what father told you?" Gaara asked sardonically. "Gaara, where did you disappear to?" the blonde asked. "Somewhere I could learn to control the beast within me," Gaara replied. He let a small smile form on his face. "How have you been, Tamari?" "We missed you," Gaara, the blonde, now identified, answered. "I'm sure you did. Frankly, I missed you, too. Anyway, you mind letting the kid go?" Naruto asked Kankuro. "I don't feel like beating the crap out of you so soon. Need to save my strength for the real tough guys." Kankuro immediately released the young boy, turning on Naruto, only to be cowed by a small release of murderous intent from Naruto. "I catch you doing anything like that again," the red-clad blonde boy threatened. "And I'll shred you like the paper tiger you really are." Trying not to let on just how unnerved he was by Naruto's threat, Kankuro just said, "Whatever. Come on, Tamari, Mitsuri. We gotta get to the meeting spot." As soon as the sand trio was gone, the pink-haired girl turned to Naruto. "Thank you." "It wasn't any problem," Naruto answered with a shrug. "I just can't stand bullies." The girl looked at the metal band covering Naruto's forehead, specifically eyeing the three-pointed claw symbol engraved in the center. What village do you come from? Hidden Beast, Naruto replied. My friends Gaara and Haku are from there, too. I'm Sakura, the girl introduced herself. I'm Naruto, the red-clad blonde offered. Where's your team? I'm meeting up with them at the place where they told all of us genin who were taking the Chunin exams to meet, Sakura replied. Mind if I walk with you? Sakura smiled. That wouldn't be a problem. Thank you, Naruto. As Sakura, Naruto, Gaara, and Haku walked to the building where the prospective were supposed to meet, Gaara noticed Haku shooting glares at Sakura. Whispering in Haku's ear, you can't glare at everyone who shows Naruto some interest. It's very, I must say, unbecoming. Haku turned a dark stare upon Gaara. I don't like her. Dislike her all you want, she hasn't done a thing to hurt you or Naruto so far, Gaara murmured. Not much more was said between Gaara and Haku after that exchange, but Sakura and Naruto were getting on quite well, much to Haku's consternation. The good times seemed to stop, though, when Sakura asked, why did you become a ninja? To defend those who are important to me, Naruto answered somberly. His blue eyes locked upon her green eyes. What is your purpose for becoming a ninja? Sakura looked away, her face flushed, but with what emotion was uncertain. I did it to be near someone who is important to me. How important is this person that you would become a ninja for them? Naruto inquired. Would you risk death for them? Would you fight for and alongside them? Would you kill for them? Sakura's answer came in a soft whisper. Yes. Naruto smiled gently. Then you'll be okay. As long as you remember who you're doing it for. No sooner had the four genin had stepped inside the building where the first part of the Chunin exams would take place than when Sakura called out, Sasuke. Sai. The two boys turned to her, and while both were dark-haired and black-clad, they had significantly different styles. The one that answered to the name Sasuke wore a wide-collared black t-shirt and black pants with black open-toed ninja boots and black leather bindings around his forearms. His hair was styled in such a fashion that the back of it resembled a duck's tail, and his dark-eyed stare was full of restrained menace. The one that answered to the name Sai had black hair that limply framed his face and wore a mesh shirt that displayed the lean musculature and pale skin of his frame. His legs were covered by black long shorts with gauze bindings around his calves, and he wore black open-toed ninja boots. You've brought some interesting people here, Sasuke remarked. Ugly, too, Sai added. Not a looker in the bunch. But then, Billboard Brow can't have anyone prettier than her around. It'd just show how hideous she is. You do realize that's your teammate you're talking crap about, right? Naruto asked sharply, immediately not liking the pale boy. Ikla standing up for ugly, Sai answered sardonically. It's almost poetic. I don't like your attitude, Gaara snarled. Screw you, too, raccoon face, Sai retorted tonelessly. Gaara let out a low growl as Haku raised her hand to still Gaara's anger. He's goading you, she warned him. And therein, the only one of you that has a dick and it's a girl, Sai jabbed. Haku flushed, although it was indeterminable whether the redness on her cheeks came from anger or embarrassment. Naruto's eyes flashed a baleful crimson. That's it, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki hissed. He's going down in flames. Naruto didn't, Haku warned, but Naruto wouldn't hear it as he was busy charging towards Sai for the purpose of beating him senseless. He was halted by Sasuke, who had darted between him and Sai. Naruto looked into Sasuke's eyes and saw that they had turned crimson with 3 tomo surrounding each pupil. Sharingan, he murmured. You want to fight, I'll give you one, Sasuke challenged. You're not the one I wanna hit, but if you're offering, Naruto answered. Sasuke's retort to that was a brutal punch that threw Naruto back against the nearest wall. Before Naruto could properly reorient himself, Sasuke was in his face throwing multiple punches, finishing with a brutal uppercut that Naruto could have sworn was tinged with hellish golden flames. Watching the seemingly one-sided slaughter were Gaara, Haku, Sakura, and Sai, 3 of the 4 looking with horror and 1 with disinterest. The downed Naruto slowly rose to his feet, wiping blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. Not bad. Not bad at all. You wanna see my moves now? Before Sasuke could answer, Naruto swept his leg out in a low kick meant to trip Sasuke, who jumped over Naruto's leg. In response, Naruto continued his spinning sweep and redirected it into a rising roundhouse kick that caught Sasuke in the stomach. Naruto pushed off with his other foot and half climbed, half jumped into a flipping kick that crashed against Sasuke's head. This time, Sasuke grabbed Naruto's ankle and threw him, Naruto twisting in midair to land on his feet and primary hand in a crouch. By that time, of course, Sasuke had darted behind him and aimed a stomping kick for his head. Naruto simply blocked his foot with his forearm and twisted while on the ground into a kick that Sasuke blocked with his hand. The 2 opponents glared at each other, blue turning demon red meeting crimson. I have to admit, Dickless is good, Sai remarked. Yeah, Sakura agreed. And I doubt he doesn't have a dick. Do you feel that power? Gaara whispered to Haku. Yes, it's too maleficent, too thick, and altogether too strong to belong to a human, Haku whispered back. I shy, Gaara concluded. Sasuke's his host. Then we'd better find some way to stop this fight before Sasuke, or Die Shy, decides to stop holding back, Haku suggested. As it turned out, Gaara and Haku didn't have to intervene, as another Leaf Genin team, composed of 2 boys and 1 girl, stepped in. One of the boys was dressed in an obscenely tight green suit with orange arm warmers and leg warmers, and had a black bowl cut and thick eyebrows. The other boy was long-haired and obscenely pretty, pale purple, almost white, eyes distinguishing him along with bandages around his left side. The girl had brown hair tied up in twin buns, and wore a pink mandarin shirt and green pants. As entertaining as it would be to see you two fight, save it for the ring, the pale-eyed boy coldly interjected. Reluctantly, Naruto and Sasuke separated, sending each other heated glares that reminded them that this would not be the end of their conflict. Both rejoined their respective genin teams and, along with the third genin team, went upstairs to the meeting hall where all the prospects were. Of course, they had to get past a design to weed out unworthy competitors first, and that they managed to accomplish with the help of the pale-eyed boy, whose bloodline limit allowed him to see past the illusion. Of course, Naruto just had to introduce himself to all the perspectives inside. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. As of this moment, all your asses belong to me, and I'll only return them when I'm done tanning them. Well, this merited a great number of glares aimed at Naruto. Renji just giggled. Well, you're certainly confident. I like that in a man. Just then, a girl with pale blonde hair styled in a ponytail and dressed in purple with her identifying band wrapped around her waist, sidled up to Naruto. Would you like to at least know the name of the lady whose ass you'll be giving back freshly tanned? She asked, batting her lashes coquettishly. Yeah, I'd like that, Naruto answered nonchalantly. Besides, it never hurts to know the name of a beautiful girl. The blonde blushed. I'm Ino Yamanaka. What's your name, Mr. Tough Guy? Uzumaki, Naruto replied. Naruto Uzumaki. While Naruto and Ino flirted with each other, Haku and Yugito stared holes in Ino, or rather, if they were capable of literally burning holes in someone with their eyes, there might have been nothing left of Ino. Sakura also stared at Ino with something resembling jealousy in her eyes. You could do better, Sai remarked to Naruto. But as dickless as you are, I'm not surprised you'd go for a dog face like her. Sai. Try not to be such a prick. You'll get more people to like you that way, Naruto answered coolly. Unbeknownst to Naruto, a girl with long indigo hair and purplish wide eyes, dressed in a heavy khaki jacket and loose dark purple pants that didn't quite hide her assets, was watching him with a question in her eyes. Naruto. Is that you? Beside her, a boy in a hooded gray coat with fang-like red markings on his cheeks and a white furred puppy inside that coat just rolled his eyes. Show off. He must either be very brave, very foolish, or very strong to come in with that sort of declaration. Another boy beside the indigo-haired girl, this one wearing sunglasses and a trench coat with the collar turned up to obscure his face, remarked. He doesn't look that tough, the boy with the markings muttered. Gibba, in the world of ninja, nothing and no one is as it seems, the sunglasses-wearing boy cautioned. Gibba shrugged. Whatever. I still say he isn't so tough. Meanwhile, Sasuke cuts into Naruto and Ino's flirtation with a cold glance. You, he spat at Naruto. What, bastard? Naruto retorted. Do you really think you're that strong? This was asked in a cold challenge. I know. And I'm not scared of you. Sasuke chuckled and released a small bit of murderous intent. Perhaps you should be. Surprisingly, even that small release of deadly aura caused several genin to nearly fall to their knees, and even the stronger genin were somewhat rattled. Naruto just stood his ground and let his blue eyes flash crimson with slit pupils. You're going to have to try harder than that, the nine-tailed demon foxholder taunted. As Sasuke and Naruto had their face-off, Gaara, Haku and Yugito looked at each other with trepidation. Die shy, Haku murmured. Are you sure? Yugito whispered. Yes, Haku replied. His aura is too evil, too cruel, and too strong to be anything but die shy. And I can tell this isn't even the peak of his strength. We'll have to be careful, Gaara whispered. If we have to fight him, we fight him as rangers. He'll be too strong for us to stand a chance otherwise. Lucky for Naruto, he was interrupted before Dai Shai could unleash his greater powers. Just then, a tall, bespectacled young man with silver hair styled in a ponytail moved closer to Naruto and asked, would you mind not making such a scene? And who are you? Naruto asked. The Budo, the young man replied. He pulled out a deck of cards and riffled through them for a while before stopping at a specific one. Ah. Sasuke Uchiha. Genin of the Hidden Leaf Village. Teammates are Sakura Haruno and Sai Tenma. Highly skilled in the Uchiha clan Taijutsu, highly skilled in ninjutsu, particularly fire techniques, and somewhat middling in Has taken 23 D rank missions, 12 C rank missions, 4 B rank missions, and no A or S rank missions. 4 B rank missions? Naruto asked. And how did you know I wanted information on Sasuke? I have a sixth sense for these things, Kabuto replied. You and your team come from the Hidden Beast village, right? Yeah, what of it? Nothing, really. From what I've been able to ascertain, Yugito turns out some very skilled Taijutsu practitioners, although it is a very unique style that's said to be hard to learn unless you have some sort of bond with an animal spirit. Yeah. We basically channel the spirits of animals into our fighting techniques, Naruto said. And you even have a special form of summoning which allows you to physically manifest your animal spirit as a projectile attack that acts very much like the animal your style is patterned after, Kabuto added. How do you know all of that anyway? Renj asked. Are you some kind of spy? No, just well read, Kabuto replied calmly. Naruto looked out at the crowd of perspective, seeing several with identifying bands that had musical notes as their symbol. He gave a small smirk to a bandaged, almost mummy-like ninja whose eye narrowed with anger, while his smaller, spikier-haired teammate's eyes widened in fear before also narrowing in anger. The dark-haired girl accompanying them both, dressed in an urban camouflage scarf and pants with a gray shirt, looked away from Naruto's intense stare. Say, who are those guys? They're from the Hidden Sound village, Kabuto replied. Relatively new on the scene, so I don't know how up to snuff they are compared to our shinobi. That caused the bandaged ninja to stalk over to them and take a swing at Kabuto. While his punch seemed to miss, Kabuto's glasses suddenly cracked and he vomited. What the hell? Naruto asked. How did the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki cut himself off when he noticed a large object on his arm, a cross between a bracer and a shield with strategically placed holes, like a flute but larger? That thing on your arm concentrates and amplifies sonic vibrations, disrupting the inner ear should those vibrations hit their target. You're very astute, the bandaged ninja remarked grimly. Let's hope those smarts make you last a little bit before I kick your ass. Just as Yugito was about to step in to defend Naruto, a gruff voice announced, all right, you little bastards, it's time for the first part of your exams. Everyone present turned to face a tall, muscular leaf dressed in a black trench coat over black and dark gray clothes. He wore his identifying band on a bandana that concealed his head, and eyes filled with restrained menace stared out of his scarred face. He looked out at the genin who were present and his eyes lit upon Naruto Uzumaki, a darkly gleeful smile forming. Hey, kid. You look familiar. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Yeah. Mister. I'm gonna make everyone my bitch. I like that kind of spirit. You'll get yourself killed soon enough acting like that, but I like it. He addressed all of the genin. For the record, attacking another genin before the survival and combat portions of the exam start will not be tolerated and will merit automatic failure if done enough times. Now that you understand that, everyone come with me for the first exam. Obediently yet nervously, they followed the darkly clad to what appeared to be a classroom, where they all took seats. Haku had managed to get a seat next to Naruto, as had the indigo-haired girl in the somewhat unflattering clothes. Gaara was sandwiched between Sakura and Yugito, while Temari sat above him and Renj and Karasu sat below him. So who are you, anyway? Naruto asked. Ibiki Marino, the gruff replied. The purpose of this part of the exam is to test your actual knowledge of the ins and outs of being a ninja. You start with 10 points and 9 questions, with the 10th question being a verbal exam in itself. You will lose 1 point for each question you get wrong. If you are caught cheating, you will lose 2 points each time you are caught. Those of you who manage to lose all 10 points will automatically fail and be forced to wait till the next exam to try again, not to mention that your entire team will fail with you. Am I understood? The classroom's occupant stared at Ibiki in shell shock. I'll take that as a yes, Ibiki remarked. Mother freaking hell, Karasu mumbled as he stared at the questions on his paper. I am so screwed. You're not the only one, Renj murmured next to him. I wasn't even aware I was supposed to study for this one. Yugito rolled her eyes. Suck it up, you damn pansies. I'm not failing on your accounts. Karasu and Renj glared at Yugito, whose teal eyes merely flashed a cat-like gold. Both of them got the hint and turned to their own papers, trying to figure out just how they were going to answer the questions. Their ruminations were accented, though, with mumbled curses, particularly the repetition of the F-bomb in its various permutations. Yugito stared contemplatively at her paper, tapping the eraser nub of her pencil against the edge of her desk. Elsewhere in the lecture hall, Naruto glared at his paper. I barely know the answer to half of these. Damn it. How the… His musings were interrupted by a nudge from the pale-eyed girl in the somewhat unflattering clothes. And Naruto. Naruto turned to the girl, finally fully aware of her. She looked familiar to him, but he was having difficulty remembering precisely who she was. How do you know my name? I'm Hyena, as the girl whispered. I know the answers. No, it's okay, Hinata, Naruto muttered. I don't want to get you in trouble. It's okay, Naruto, Hinata whispered. I won't get caught. I just. While Hinata was fighting her shyness to get the words she wanted to say out, Haku was using surreptitiously positioned demonic crystal ice mirrors to read the answers the other genin were writing. She turned to Naruto and smiled confidently at him. Don't worry. We're not going to get caught. That's the point of this exercise. Naruto looked at Haku curiously. The point? To test how well we can gather information without being detected by the enemy, Haku explained. Okay, Naruto mumbled. Letting Hinata and Haku show him the answers, Naruto copied them down onto his paper. Around the three genin, the other genin were using their particular abilities to get the answers as well. Ino used her clan's mind transfer techniques to slip into Sakura's mind and read the answers from her, then slipped back into her own body and slipped the answers to her teammates, a large-bodied boy named Choji Akimichi and a boy with his hair in a spiky high ponytail named Shikamaru Nara. Kiba and Shino used Kiba's nin dog Akamaru and Shino's hive of chakra-eating insects to covertly gather the answers. Gaara formed his sand into an eye that would secretly read information from the other genin's papers, and Sasuke activated his Sharingan to copy the writing of another genin. 30 minutes later, Ibiki spoke up. Time's up, you little pukes. Now it's time for the 10th question. 10th question? Naruto repeated. What the hell? There isn't a 10th question on this paper. You're right, there isn't, Ibiki answered. The 10th question is verbal. You're welcome to not take it, but that means you automatically fail, and you have to wait till the next exam. If you take it and get it wrong, you're stuck as a genin for the rest of your miserable lives. You and your teams. What the hell? Karasu yelled. Are you scared, you little puke? Ibiki sneered. Screw you, Karasu retorted grimly. I'm not scared. Really? Because I can smell the fear coming off you. It's a very sweet musk. Karasu growled. So what? So freaking what? Even if I am scared of you, I'm not going to run out like a wimp. I don't care what you do to me. Despite Karasu's brave words, there were plenty of other genin that had chosen to vacate the premises. Naruto looked at Karasu, and they shared a secret grin. Upon breaking eye contact, Naruto's grin turned into a wide smirk. Hey Ibiki. You know who the real failures are? Who? Ibiki asked curiously. The ones who ran out like pansies. That's not how you get a mission done. Things go wrong, stuff happens that you didn't account for, and sometimes really nasty crap goes down. Does that mean you give up? Does that mean you run out like a coward? No. You see it through to the end, even if it's your end, because backing out is not an option. Ibiki looked out at the remaining genin. Do all of you agree with this little punk? He's got balls, I'll give him that, Kankuro remarked. I was wrong, Sai said. He has a dick, after all. He's still ugly. Sasuke smirked as he looked at Naruto out of the corner of his Sharingan. You and I better be facing each other at the end of this. I'll be disappointed if we don't. The feral smirk graced Naruto's face as his eyes shifted from blue to slit pupil crimson. Yeah, me too. The others did not say very much, but their steadfast refusal to leave said all that they needed to say. Ibiki chuckled. You pass. All you little punks pass. Huh? Renj asked. Uzumaki was right, Ibiki went on. In the real world of shinobi, you don't get a do-over. You don't get to back out and try again later. The missions you will be going on will be do or die, emphasis on do and die. There will be things you didn't account for, risks you're forced to take because you don't have enough information. Even more importantly, you'll not just be responsible for yourself, but for the fate of the shinobi with you and possibly your entire village. He took off his leaf headband, which he wore like a bandana, revealing a bald head full of frighteningly hideous scars. This is what can happen to you when you're on a mission. But that doesn't mean you give up. If you do, you were never worthy of being shinobi in the first place, and you'll die like the worthless pukes you turned out to be. He smirked slightly. But you had the courage to stick this question out, so. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by the sound of a shattering window and a trench-coated figure doing a barrel roll into the room before springing up to reveal a very shapely purple-haired woman using the trench coat to cover a short-sleeved, short-legged fishnet bodystocking, which was almost her sole article of clothing. The only thing that kept everyone present from seeing her assets was the trench coat and the dark orange miniskirt wrapped around her hips. Her hair was tied in a spiky upward ponytail, and she wore the leaf headband around her forehead. Ladies and gentlemen, Anko Mitarashi has arrived, the woman greeted with a smirk. Karasu grinned. That is officially the coolest woman I have ever seen. Cooler than me? Renj asked. For shame, Karasu. For shame. Anko looked at Ibiki. You let all these punks pass. Getting soft, Ibiki. You're early, Anko, Ibiki growled. Yeah, I am, Anko answered. What's it to you? She turned to the remaining genin. Alright, time for you to come with me. As the genin followed Anko out, Ibiki briefly pulled Naruto away from the others. You know, there are some harmless little betting rings going on about who's going to come out of this exam smelling like roses. Good money's gonna be on you, kid. Why's that? Naruto asked. You've got an attitude, and I can tell it's not all talk, Ibiki replied. You're gonna go far, and there are a lot of people who can't wait to see how far you go. Naruto chuckled. Thanks for the compliment, but I gotta get back to my team. Besides, Anko'll kill me if I'm not there. Sure. Ibiki gave Naruto a hard pat on the back. Good luck, punk. Meanwhile, the beasts were mingling with a leaf in the lounge reserved for Jounin Sensei. The Jounin Sensei RJ and Kurabi saw were quite interesting in their own ways. One was a man with silver gray hair like a scarecrow and who wore his headband like an eye patch over his left eye, not to mention a mask that hid everything from the nose down, leaving only a dark gray-eyed eye visible. Another was a dark bearded man who carried trenched knives on his person. The third was a man who wore his hair in a bowl cut, had obscenely thick eyebrows, and wore an obscenely tight green spandex suit with orange leg warmers and arm warmers. The fourth was a lovely red-eyed, dark-haired woman who wore a dress made of white wrappings and a red right sleeve. These four were, respectively, Kakashi Haddock, Asuma Sarutobi, Might Guy, and Kurenai Yuhi, and they were eyeing the beast just as intently as the beast were eyeing them. One was a tall, lithe brunette man dressed in black with a purple vest jacket and a strange purple bracer shaped like a wolf's head, combined with a wrestling bell. The other was an even taller, burlier man with white cornrows for hair, darkly bronzed skin, sunglasses concealing his eyes, and baggy whitish-gray clothes adorning his muscle-bound frame. These two were RJ, short for Robert James, and Kurabi, or Killer B, respectively. You have some interesting ninja here, RJ remarked. And did Yugito raises some interesting ninja as well, Kakashi remarked. Yo, Kurenai, Crimson Honey, Kurabi rapped. You mind hanging with me and my bunny? I've never heard it called that before, Kurenai remarked, slightly amused, while Asuma glared at the metaphorical holes in Kurabi. Don't worry, I won't be bringing you harm, Kurabi rhymed. In no time, you'll be falling for my charm. Kurenai chuckled slightly. That'll be the day. Is he always like this? Kakashi asked RJ. You learn to live with it, RJ replied breezily. And it can be entertaining, depending on your mood. You two seem to be possessed of youthful spirits, Guy remarked to RJ and Kurabi. He looked at RJ intently. The wolf is a noble and youthful animal. I am certain that you are a proper wielder of its spirit. I am, RJ answered. So you think they all passed? I'm sure of it, Kakashi remarked. Especially Sasuke. I would say the same of my most youthful student Lee. Guy declared enthusiastically. I'm pretty sure of mine, too, Asuma added. They can be a motivated bunch when it comes down to it. Speaking of students, one of yours looks very familiar, Kurenai commented to RJ. Like what a little boy who disappeared years ago would have grown into by now. Would it be the one in the red and black jacket? RJ asked coyly. Yes, Kurenai replied. Why do you ask? RJ inquired curiously. Because one of my students is quite, shall we say, fixated on him, Kurenai answered. And if they're both going to be in the Chunin exams, that could make things interesting. Playing matchmaker, huh? Well, I'm game. Naruto needs a good woman in his life. Kurenai blinked momentarily. Did you say his name was Naruto? Yeah. What of it? Your Naruto wouldn't be Naruto Uzumaki, would it? The one and only. And if you're wondering how he resurfaced as a Daijūnin, well frankly, if I'd been treated the way he was when he was here, I'd have said screw this and started talking heads. The four-leaf looked at RJ with some degree of surprise, as if it wasn't quite registering that the mellow wolf had said what he just said. Kakashi finally spoke up. You're right, we should have treated Naruto better. He was given a burden he didn't ask for, and we refused to see him for what he was. Don't worry about anything, Kurabi rapped. For Naruto, love and friendship, not diamonds, are the greatest bling. It sounds like he's turned out alright, Asuma said. Yeah, RJ replied. And he just might surprise you all with what he's learned from us in Hidden Beast. I'm looking forward to seeing him engage my student Niji or my student Lee or my student Tenten in a contest of youthful prowess, Guy remarked. I wonder will your beast fist style stand up to Lee's strong fist or Niji's gentle fist or Tenten's array of weapons? I'm looking forward to that too, RJ remarked. I'm sure it'll be fun to watch. What's that on your wrist? Asuma asked, pointing to the purple wolf's head bracer on RJ's left wrist. Is it some kind of weapon? Yeah, it is, RJ answered. It helps me focus my wolf spirit. Why do you need help with that? Asuma wondered. I thought you were a master of the wolf spirit beast fist. I can't always control it, RJ admitted. And if it wasn't for this, he held up his bracer. Let's just say it wouldn't be safe to be around me. I hope they didn't get Ibiki overseeing the first part of the exam, Kakashi muttered. They're screwed if they did. Why's that? Kurabi rhymed. Who's that cat? Ibiki Marino is one of the best from Anbu's interrogation and torture squad, Kakashi explained. The reason he's one of the best is that he doesn't need to touch you to torture you, it's all about psychological warfare with him. He wears you down with your own fears and anxieties, and then once you're too off balance to resist, he swoops in for the kill. He enjoys it, too, Asuma added. Sounds like a gnarly dude, RJ commented. But my students should be able to handle him. What makes you think that? Kurenai asked. A major part of Beast Fist is overcoming fear, RJ replied. As that book said, fear is the mind killer, the little death that brings total obliteration. Submit to fear, and you submit to death. Especially in this case. What are you talking about? Guy asked. We're here to kick ass and take names, Kurabi replied. And one of those is Dai Shai, for whom we came. Dai Shai? Kurenai asked. Who's that? A demonic dragon, even more dangerous than any tailed beast, whom our order trapped several eons ago, RJ explained. But the seal weakened over time, and he busted loose, and we're here because he inhabits someone from this village. Someone who's likely to become a shinobi and is in the Chunin exams. Do you have any idea who? Guy asked. No, RJ admitted. But we know the personality type Dai Shai goes for. Someone full of rage, lusting for vengeance, living only for the destruction of the object of their hatred and anger, will be wedded to the power and fury of Dai Shai, which will not only make them stronger but also corrupt their thinking, making them into a perfect vessel for Dai Shai's rebirth. Someone like that in our village. Asuma uttered. It's why we're here, RJ said. It's why we exist, to stop Dai Shai from ravaging this world and erasing humanity. Just gotta say, you might want to watch out for your students, okay? Kurabi rhymed. Alright, Kakashi said. We'll just have to watch out, but have you guys told the Hokage? Yeah, RJ replied. He's on the alert. Elsewhere, the prospective students were standing at the entrance to a great forest, Anko having led them there. Alright, this is the Forest of Death, so named because a lot of people died here. They must have sucked at not dying, then, Naruto muttered. Forest doesn't look that scary. Suddenly, a kunai flew past Naruto, grazing his cheek as it flew. Before he knew it, Anko was behind him, her body pressed against his back and her serpentine tongue darting out for a taste of his blood. Tough guy, huh? She taunted him. Yeah, I think I heard about you. Said you were going to kick everyone's asses. Well, it's the tough guys that leave their blood all over this forest. Are you trying to frighten me, or is this your rather unusual method of flirting? Naruto asked. Because if it's the former, you kind of suck. If it's the latter, well, I'm game anytime you are. Anko's hazel eyes widened slightly. You're a strange one, kid. But I think I'm gonna like you. There were several girls watching the exchange between Anko and Naruto with no small amount of distaste. One of those girls was a blonde with slanted cat-like teal eyes. Another of those girls was black-haired, garbed in a white battle kimono, and toying with a. The third girl had long dark indigo hair and pale eyes that were wide with shock. Those three girls were Yugito Nai, Haku Hyarin, and Hinata Hyuga, and none of them were happy that the boy they had all taken an interest in was practically being molested by Anko. Fortunately for them, a grass village ninja wearing a tan robe over black leggings came up to Anko with a kunai being held in her serpentine tongue. I'm sorry, is this yours? She asked in a vaguely slithery voice. Yeah, Anko replied as she took back the kunai. Thanks. Your kunai cut my hair, and I couldn't help but get excited at the scent of blood in the air, the grass nin remarked. Anko reluctantly released Naruto and went back to addressing the genin. Anyway, you have 5 days from now to make it through the Forest of Death and into the tower on the other end. That is your safe zone. Each team will be given one scroll, half will have the kanji for heaven, and the other half will have the kanji for earth. To win, you must not only be alive, your teammates must be alive, and you have to have both scrolls. How are we going to do that? Ino asked. You beat the crap out of some other team and take their scroll, Anko replied. And what's this about alive? Sai asked. Does that mean death is highly likely? It's the Forest of Death for a reason, kid, Anko replied. Death is very frigging likely, which is why you're going to go to that booth. She pointed to a booth some distance away from her at the entrance to the forest and signed waivers basically saying that you absolve the village of all responsibility in the event of your ill-timed and horribly gruesome deaths. There were shivers all around, but not all of those shivers came from fear. Karasu seemed to have a smile on his face. Like I said, the coolest woman in the world. Hey, wait, where are we gonna get food? Choji asked. There's plenty of food in the forest, Anko replied. You'll just have to hunt and kill for it. After everyone had signed the prerequisite waivers, Anko gave the prospective student a parting instruction. Try not to die. Inside the Forest of Death, Team Arashi gathered. You know what Naruto said. If we can take down Sasuke, we might just put a crimp in Daishai's plans. Are you serious? Haku asked somberly. Yeah, Naruto replied. You heard what Grandpa's Hokage said. Daishai's not as strong as he used to be, especially now that he's locked up in a squishy human body. If we take him, the three of us together, we stand a chance. Just one problem, Gaara whispered. He has an Earth Scroll. We have an Earth Scroll. We do not gain anything related to this contest from fighting him. Forget the exam, Naruto snapped. We're stopping a threat to the survival of humanity itself. That's what we came here to do, and that's what we're going to do. End of story. We have to have a plan if we are to do what you suggest, Haku spoke up. Charging at Daishai and hoping for the best will simply get us killed. I've got a plan, Naruto said. I'll fight Sasuke head on, and you and Gaara will use your ice and sand techniques to form a trap. Then we finish him. Unbeknownst to them, Sakura had overheard Naruto's last words while on her way back to her team from her bathroom break. Her eyes widened in horror and she took off as fast as her legs could carry her. By the time she returned to Sasuke and Sai, she was panting heavily. What's wrong, billboard brow? Sai asked. Sasuke, that team, those beast genin, they're after you, Sakura got out in between pants. Sasuke smirked. They're after me, are they? Whatever. Let them come. Are you serious, Sasuke? Sakura exclaimed. They're going to hurt you. Maybe even kill you. You worry too much, Sakura, Sasuke answered, the deadly smirk still on his face. If those beast genin come after me, they won't live long enough to regret it. His eyes flashed a deadly Sharingan red on those last 8 words. Sakura murmured, although she couldn't help but worry. As it turned out, it wasn't Team Arashi Sakura's team to worry about. Their real troubles came from the mysterious grass nin, who had given Anko back her kunai, and she was emitting a frightful amount of murderous intent, the smile on her face, making it clear how much she looked forward to shedding their blood. What do you want? Sasuke asked. Your Earth Scroll, the grass nin replied sinisterly. It'll go well with my Heaven Scroll. You're not getting it, Sakura declared. I think I can change your mind on that, the grass nin mused idly, and the wave of murderous intent she emitted was so immense that Sakura, Sasuke, and Sai were overwhelmed with visions of being killed gruesomely at her hands, as though it were happening already. To her surprise, Sasuke began to laugh, a cruel, maniacal sound. You really think that parlor trick's going to work on me? He asked, stalking toward the grass nin. You're sorely mistaken. It seems to have worked on your teammates, the grass nin purred. But then, they're not you, are they? Sasuke smiled a deadly smile, his Sharingan blazing brightly. I think it's time I showed you my power. Thank you for the invitation, the grass nin hissed, just before abnormally stretching her body, like plastic or rubber, into an attack on Sasuke, who dodged with incredible agility. The grass nin simply twisted and threw a highly elastic punch at Sasuke, who caught it and wrenched her around. Unfortunately for him, she simply used it as an opportunity to literally wrap her body around his. You're more impressive so far than I thought you'd be. Thanks, Sasuke answered, but this is the least of my power. Here's more. With a mighty roar and a burst of fiery chakra, Sasuke threw the grass nin off him, and when she rose again, she saw that he was now wearing a skin-tight dark red suit accented with golden armor. The armor came in the form of a chest shield with a diamond-shaped center, a black helmet with a golden faceplate resembling a knight's visor, gold bands around his upper arms, a black belt with a golden buckle, shaped like the open maw of a dragon, with the Uchiha clan symbol between its jaws, black gauntlets with golden cuffs shaped like dragon heads. And black boots reinforced with greaves also shaped like dragon heads. What is this transformation? The grass nin wondered in shock. The answer to her question came when the armored Sasuke threw a super fast flying kick that caught her in the chest, sending her flying into a tree trunk with enough force to shatter every bone in a normal person's body. Judging by how she got up after that, she was by no means a normal person, as if the rubbery elasticity she had already demonstrated wasn't proof enough. She wiped blood off her lip, smirking nastily at Sasuke. So you got up after that, Sasuke remarked, his voice deeper and rougher. You might not be entirely a waste of time after all. The grass nin charged at Sasuke, attacking him in close quarters, but Sasuke blocked and dodged every one of her strikes, as though he could see her coming seconds before she actually made a move. Technically, with the analytical powers of his Sharingan, that was more fact than conjecture, and even then there was the small matter of those powers being greatly boosted by Daishai's residence in his body. Finally growing weary of the fight, Sasuke grabbed the grass nin's head and began to pull, tearing away part of her face to reveal paler skin and a lavender-shadowed golden eye beneath. Who are you? Sasuke asked. You'll find out soon enough, the grass nin replied, her voice now rougher and more masculine sounding. In the meantime, a parting gift is in order, don't you think? The grass nin extended her neck so as to bring her head close enough to Sasuke's for her to bite into his neck. To her great dismay, Sasuke caught the grass nin by her obscenely stretched neck and squeezed hard. I don't bite on the first date. But I will give you a parting gift of my own. Yamaten. Anuyenden. An inferno in the shape of a black dragon lunged at the grass nin from Sasuke's hand and engulfed her. Sasuke dropped the burning grass nin and powered down from his armored state, collapsing to one knee as he did. Using those powers still takes a toll on my body. It won't do so forever, Sasuke Uchiha, a reverberant dark voice spoke in his mind. The more you advance your strength in the power of the Beast Fist confrontation art and the underworld release, the stronger you will become and the closer you will get to destroying that man. Yes. For that, I can endure anything. Anything. Good to hear that you're still so determined. Why shouldn't I be? You've given me an incredible gift and I will use it to annihilate that bastard. Sasuke began to chuckle crazily. Won't he be surprised to find that I don't need eyes like his to defeat him? He finally rose to his feet, looking at his still dazed teammates. A twinge of sympathy prompted him to pick them up and carry them under his arms to someplace safe. He didn't even know why he bothered with them sometimes, both of them were annoying, but one seemed particularly obsessed with penizes and the other fawned over him to the point of complete idiocy. Still, they were his teammates, and if anything from Kakashi's teachings had made an impact, it was that teammates shouldn't be abandoned. Besides, he needed them so he could continue in the Chunin exams. Elsewhere in the Forest of Death, chills ran down the spines of Team Zarashi and Raiden. Did you feel that? Naruto asked. Aisha, Yugito murmured. Karasu smirked. This is going to be exciting. Yeah, assuming you don't get killed, Renj muttered to herself. We'd better be careful, Gaara advised. Aisha is not one any of us should take on solo. Then the six of us fight him, Haku murmured. Even his power should not be enough to stand against us all. Yugito smiled slowly. You can come out now, songstress, you and your little boy toys. At that moment, three teenagers stepped out of the shadows of the forest. One was a girl with long black hair and dressed in a grey top and sniper camouflage pants. The other two were boys, one being the practically mummy-like bandage boy who had assaulted Kabuto with a melody arm. The other had spiky dark hair and was garbed in a khaki tunic and white pants. All three wore headbands identifying them as Sound Ninja. The girl smirked cruelly at Team Zarashi and Raiden. So you're the hidden beast genin. You don't look so tough. Neither do you, Karasu retorted. Hey, pretty boy, the girl called out. You might want to spend less time on that glossy hair and more on your ninjutsu. Look who's talking, Karasu sneered. You could be a cover model. Enough talk. The spiky-haired boy shouted. I'll blow these punks away in one shot. He thrust out his hands, palms facing out to reveal small holes in their centers. Slicing sound wave. Immediately, a blast of concentrated sound emanated from the holes in the boy's palms. The wave of sound did more than just make noise, it also generated intense wind that would have knocked over the two beast genin teams if not for Gaara's sand shield. Unfortunately, the sand shield's protection did not last too long and soon sand particles and air molecules were slicing the beast genin's faces, hands, and other exposed skin. The mummy-like boy with a melody arm remarked. They weren't that tough after all. Suddenly, a burning red spectral fox with 9 tails lunged at the melody arm user, slashing him repeatedly. Wanna bet, Naruto snarled. Where did that come from? The melody arm wielder gasped out. Yugito stood next to Naruto, a burning blue aura taking the shape of a two-tailed cat surrounding her. This is the power of Hidden Beast. The power to fight as the animals do, to be one with the spirits of the beasts. You guys are a little tougher than we expected you to be, Renj admitted, but that doesn't matter. All it gets you is that we actually take you seriously. That's not as good as it sounds. By this point, she channeled the chakra of her seven-tailed Isinate through twin sword hilts to form blades made of watery energy. Gaara had transformed his sand into a layer of armor surrounding his body and colored it to match what he was wearing and his skin, hair, and eyes. The sand armor, while incredibly useful for defense, also weighed him down as he had compressed so much sand into that armor that it made his body quite heavy. He could still move, but he could not move as fast as he could without the armor. He accepted this sacrifice in speed because his Shukaku Spirit Beast Fist worked best in a defensive pattern. Haku withdrew a bottle of water strapped to her thigh and opened it. With a mighty throw, she released some water from that bottle and used her Hyutin to change the falling water into ice needles that flew at the three sound genin. The spiky-haired boy released another slicing sound wave, and while he succeeded in making the ice needles miss him, they did hit his comrades, much to their very vocal and profanity-laden displeasure. Karasu leaped into the air and, unleashing his raven spirit, performed a graceful dive that culminated in a drop kick to the mummified boy. Unfortunately, the mummified boy unleashed his melody arm technique on Karasu, which left him quite disoriented due to the disruption of his inner ear. Seizing upon this opportunity, the mummified boy punched Karasu in the stomach and kneed him in the solar plexus, knocking him to the ground. Karasu! Ren shouted, performing a graceful and deadly dance with her Icinade swords, cutting through the slicing sound wave and the Melody Arms attacks. The dark-haired girl threw at Renj, who deflected it with her chakra sabers. Try harder. Outside the Forest of Death, one Anko Mitarashi was happily eating her dango and musing about a certain red-clad beast Genin. She was still rather impressed with him for not being scared of her and for even taking her attempts at intimidation as foreplay. She licked her lips, wondering just what sort of games he was into when it came to playing with a woman. Just then, her musings were interrupted by two Anbu. What is it? She asked them. Mitarashi, you have to see this, one of the Anbu answered grimly. When she saw what the Anbu were talking about, she nearly threw up. There were 3 dead ninja with their faces melted off, and judging by their style of dress, they were from the grass village. The identification the Anbu gave Anko confirmed their village and something else. I know that woman, she murmured. How long have they been dead? Roughly a week, one of the Anbu replied. Then Anko turned and began to head into the Forest of Death. I'll deal with this. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, link is in the description. See you next time, till then sayonara.